The movie starts with this couple on a sailboat, right? They find this random island and are like, cool, let's check it out. So the husband is tying up the boat, but his wife just wanders off into the woods alone. You just know that's a bad idea. She finds this creepy old abandoned compound and gets this feeling like someone's watching her. So she freaks out and starts running, hiding behind a tree. But then bam, something grabs her and just drags her off screaming. It's super intense, and her husband even hears her. Then we cut to this little sports plane landing on the same island. It's these two brothers, John and Matt, and three of their friends, Sarah, Nikki, and Noah. They're there to party at their dead uncle's old cabin. The whole point of the trip is for the brothers to get along because they're always fighting. So they're hanging out and they find this adorable little puppy. Sarah immediately falls in love and is like, he's mine now. Later that night, the puppy just starts growling at Noah for no reason. Super weird. Then the puppy runs off, so Sarah and John go to find it. They find the little guy, but then this huge, mean-looking older dog just jumps out of the dark and attacks. It bites Sarah really bad on the leg. Her friend Nikki totally panics and is like, we have to leave now! But John, trying to be the cool older brother, is like, chill out, it's no biggie. We have like a week to get her a rabies shot. And for some reason, Sarah agrees to stay. Total disaster waiting to happen. That night, Matt spills the beans to Nikki. He's like, get this whole island used to be a dog training facility, but they had to put all the dogs down because of some infection. Super spooky. The next morning, Sarah's acting really strange. She's not talking right, and she's scarfing down food like she's been starving for weeks. The guys go out hunting, but the woods are completely dead. No rabbits, no deer, nothing. Noah wanders off to take pictures, and then, surprise, a dog shows up. Then another. Before he knows it, he's completely surrounded by these killer dogs. He makes a run for it and finds John and Matt, trying to tell them the island is totally messed up. And just then, the dude from the sailboat at the beginning stumbles out of the woods. He looks awful, completely torn up. He tries to warn them, but a whole pack of dogs just jumps on him and rips him to pieces right in front of them. It's insane. The three guys just bolt back to the cabin. And when they get there, they see Sarah and Nikki just casually walking back from a swim like nothing's wrong at all. So they're running back to the cabin, and then they see Sarah and Nikki coming back from their swim. But get this, a whole pack of dogs is just casually following right behind them. The guy starts screaming, get in the cabin, run! And everyone scrambles inside. But a dog is too fast and latches onto Nikki's foot. So John, trying to be a hero, grabs his bow and arrow, and he shoots, but he totally misses the dog and hits Nikki right in the leg. What a disaster. The dog gets scared and runs off, and they all drag Nikki inside, pull the arrow out, and are like, okay, we are leaving. But just as they're planning their escape, bam! Another dog just crashes right through the window and attacks Noah. Matt and John have this huge fight with it and finally manage to kill it. So they're all packing up, ready to bolt to the plane. But they look outside, and the plane is completely surrounded by dogs. They're totally trapped and have to go back inside. And then Noah looks out again and realizes the plane is drifting out to sea. The dogs had chewed through the anchor rope. Their only way out is just floating away. John makes a desperate move and just dives into the water trying to swim for it. He gets close, but there are two dogs just sitting on the plane waiting for him. They jump in the water after him, and he has to swim for his life back to the shore while the whole pack chases him and his brothers back to the cabin. So the plane is gone, but they still need to escape. New plan. Get to the car in the garage. They can drive it to that creepy old compound and maybe find help. They have to use this rope like a zip line to get over there. And Nikki, even with a busted leg, is like, I'm the best at this, I'll go. So she gets on the rope, but she gets stuck halfway across, just dangling there, and all the dogs see her and start going crazy. She somehow makes it to the garage and jumps in the car. But of course the car won't start. The dogs swarm the garage and she has to climb onto the roof of the car to get away. So John, using his arrow skills for good this time, shoots a rope over to her. They start pulling her back and she's just hanging there with all the dogs jumping and snapping at her feet from below. It's insane. They somehow manage to pull her back to safety. So they're all inside, finally trying to relax for a second after all that chaos, and then all the lights go out.
So the lights go out, and Noah, trying to be helpful, goes into the basement to fix the fuse box. He hears a weird noise, and then bam, a dog just lunges out of the dark and takes him down. The dogs are inside the house now. It's a total nightmare. They all hear Noah getting killed and slam the basement door shut. The dogs are trying to break in from everywhere, so they all book it upstairs and hide in this little attic space. Another dog gets up there and bites Matt, but John manages to save him. While they're hiding, they find all these old papers. And get this, it turns like the island was some secret army base where they were training these dogs to be super soldiers or something. So they survive the night, and the next morning, Matt and John are like, we have to go for the car. What else can they do? Matt's all brave now, not even scared of the dogs anymore, so he's outside pushing the car while John's trying to get his it started. But of course the dogs chase him. Matt has to scramble onto the roof of the car just to get away, and then he jumps inside. They're surrounded, and the car is about to die. So as a last resort, John just steers the car right into a ditch, and miraculously the engine roars to life. They figure out that the super loud noise is hurting the dog's ears, so they drive back to the cabin to get the girls. Nikki comes running down, but she's like, Sarah won't come down. She's acting weird. So John runs upstairs to get her. But a dog is already in there and attacks. The whole thing is chaos. John gets knocked out a window, and Sarah falls out right after him, but she lands on the sharp, broken swing set, and it just kills her instantly. And then the worst part, all the dogs just swarm her body. It's awful. Now there are only 3 of them left. They finally make it to that creepy old compound, and inside they find out the whole truth. The dogs weren't just trained, they were genetically engineered. That's why they're so smart and so vicious. Someone was totally messing with nature. Then John sees a big communications tower and gets this idea to fix it. He climbs up, and he can even see the sailboat from the beginning of the movie, but he gets a massive electric shock and falls to the ground. And of course, the dogs are there in a second. He thinks he's a goner, but Matt comes out of nowhere and fights him off. Meanwhile, that electric surge started a fire where Nikki is. She's trapped, and the dogs are just waiting outside the door for her. So she gets this crazy idea. She turns on a gas cylinder, opens the door to let the dogs rush in, then slips out a back door just as the whole room explodes. Boom! John and Matt think she's dead. They try to run, but the dogs have him cornered. It's over. But then, surprise, Nikki comes roaring up in the car. She's alive! So they all jump in and just floor it towards the water. They can't stop, so they literally drive the car right off a pier. They scramble out of the sinking car and make it onto the sailboat. They're finally safe. They're on the boat just trying to process everything, wondering if they'll even make it to a doctor. And then John opens the door to the little cabin on the boat, and there's a dog in there! It just lunges at him. These dogs were just too smart, basically running the whole island now, and that's how the movie just ends. Crazy, right?